Welcome to Sacha Yoga. Today we're going to be working through a sequence to help us feel grounded and more balanced. We're going to be playing with some standing poses and really helping ourselves get into a great energy for the day. So grab your yoga mat and let's get going. So let's start by coming up towards the front of our mats. We can lift our toes up and actually fan them out, pressing the big toe down first and then following with the other toes. So we can take a moment here to create an intention. This is essentially setting a goal or a wish for the session ahead, focusing your energy so that you can take something out of this practice and really bring it into your life. Now on an inhalation, raising the arms up over the head, reaching them up towards the sky in Urdhva Hastasana, then bending forwards to Uttanasana, forward bend. So what we can play with here is this idea of keeping the spine long. We can bring the hands either side of the feet and step the right foot up and back. This pose is called Sivasna, a very long name for actually a beautiful and generally good pose for beginners. What we're going to aim to do here is to roll the shoulder blades towards the back of the spine, creating some length and opening the heart. We can walk the left leg back and we find ourselves. So here you're welcome to bend both the knees and place them upon the mat if this is too intense, or you can keep the knees lifted if this feels like a good challenge for you. Then coming out of it, knees, chest and chin come down to the mat. We bow down to the earth and then we peel the upper body off the mat into a cobra pose. Really important here to listen to your back, only come up as far as feels comfortable for you. Then we can press through the hands, lengthening into a downward facing dog. The full name is Adho Mukha Svanasana. So what we can do here is pedal through the feet here, creating as much length as we can through the back and just warming up the hamstrings. Then we press down through the knuckles of all the fingers, creating as much length as we can through our spine, and then after all of that, we press the heels back. We can walk the right foot up and forwards between the hands, bringing the left knee down to the ground, again making sure that the knee stays on top of the ankle to protect the knee joint. The shoulders roll back in that beautiful heart open pose, and as we exhale we step the left leg forwards, forward fold. We can inhale up halfway with a flat back. Exhaling, folding all the way down, feeling that beautiful stretch through the hamstrings. Inhaling, reaching up, hands come back towards the sky, and we're back in Urdhva Hastasana. The palms come down through the center line of the body to the heart center. So here we can go straight into the round on the other side, reaching the arms up on the inhale. Exhaling, folding over into our Uttanasana forward bend. As we inhale, we come up halfway with a flat back. As we exhale, we fold down all the way, forward fold. We step up and back with the left leg, making sure the knee is on top of the ankle, coming to our Sivasna. Feeling that beautiful arch through the spine, we walk the right foot up and back to join the left, and we find ourselves again in our plank pose. Coming all the way down to the mat, rooting through the hands, tucking the elbows into the body and breathing into your cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Exhaling, the forehead bows down to the earth. We tuck the toes under, press through the hands and find ourselves again in our downward facing dog, again pedaling those feet. So now we can allow this to be still if that feels good for us. If it's too much for you to hold this pose, then bend the knees. Here we walk the left leg forwards and we stay for a moment in Sivasna. enjoying this stretch, bringing the shoulder blades towards the back of the body. We walk the right leg up and forwards to meet the left in forward fold. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, folding deeper. As we inhale, we can come up halfway with a flat back. As we exhale, we can fold over all the way. Inhaling, reaching all the way up to the sky. Bring the palms together down through the center line of the body. And now we're going to go through one more full round of sun salutations a little faster. Inhaling, the arms come up. Exhaling, we fold over. Inhaling, coming up halfway with a flat back. Exhaling, folding all the way. Rooting the hands, walking back with the right foot. The right knee comes to the ground. We're in Sivasna, horse rider's pose. Exhaling, we come back into our plank pose, holding this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees, chest, chin come down to the mat. 8-point pose. We reach up into our cobra pose. Now folding the toes under, pressing through the hands, downward facing dog. Taking a few deep breaths here, using the full capacity of the lungs. We walk the right leg up and forwards between the hands. Horse rider's pose. As we exhale, we walk the left leg forwards, back to forward fold. Breathing in deeply here, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, folding over. Inhaling all the way up to standing. The palms come down through the center line of the body. Final half round, inhaling, the arms up. Exhaling, folding over. Inhaling, halfway. Exhaling, deep bend, planting the hands, left leg comes back, left knee comes to the ground. Exhaling, right foot comes to meet the left leg in plank pose, Phalangasana. We come to 8-point pose, we fold the toes under and reach up into our cobra pose. Exhaling, we make our way up into our downward facing dog. Breathing in. As we exhale, walking the right foot forwards, inhaling, deeply rolling the shoulder blades back. Exhaling, the right foot comes to meet the left, we're in forward fold. Inhaling all the way up. Palms together in Anjali Mudra one last time. And now we can take a moment. You might wish to close your eyes. Maybe you feel warmer. Maybe you can feel energy moving around your body. And if you had an intention at the start of the class, then you can bring that to your mind again. So now we're going to come to another pose. We can play with tree pose, Vrichyasana. The first option is that we bring the right toes to the outside of the left foot. That might be enough, or we can bring the right foot up towards the calf or the top of the leg. So you choose whichever variation your balance feels good with today. You can also hold the wall if you need a bit more stability. Otherwise, bringing your hands to your heart center or lifting the hands over the head, reaching up. Taking a few breaths here, finding a focus point for your gaze. You can keep the hands together or have them shoulder width apart. Keep your eyes on that focus point. Keep breathing. Bringing the hands back down the center line of the body and coming out of the pose. Taking a moment to feel stable on both feet again, and then switching sides. This time lifting the left leg can come to the outside of the right foot for option 1, the calf option 2, or all the way up to the top of the left leg option 3. Making sure to turn the knee out towards the side of the room, really opening through the hip. The hands can come together at the heart at Anjali Mudra, or we can raise the arms up over the head or have the hands shoulder width apart. So you can really choose what kind of tree pose works for you today. Finding your breath, finding that focus point for your gaze, that drishti, and giving yourself a moment here. When we're ready to come out, exhaling the hands down, helping the leg as it comes back down to the ground. Taking a moment even to shake it out. Maybe your legs feel a little bit stiff. We can come into our next pose. So this one's called Utkatasana. This literally translates as the awkward pose. So even yogis of old clearly knew that this could be a bit of a tricky one. It starts simply enough. We inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. We exhale and sit down as if we were sitting in an imaginary chair. So the key thing here is you really want to be feeling the weight on top of your legs, not in your knee joint. So reaching the arms up, we can maybe even sit a little bit deeper, and then we can try and straighten the back. So making sure that you're feeling this on your thighs and taking a few breaths here. So this can be a tricky one. So don't overdo it, but challenge yourself, see what works for you. Coming out on an exhalation, pressing through the feet, enjoying just being stable on both feet upright. And we're going to try and come into that one more time. So inhaling, lifting the arms up overhead. Exhaling, sitting back into that really comfortable imaginary chair. We can straighten up the spine a little bit, sit down a little bit deeper. We can press the legs into one another so the feet are next to each other, the legs are pressing into each other for support. We're going to stay here for another couple of counts and then inhaling to come back up. Allowing the hands to come back down by the sides. And giving yourself a moment again to shake it out and relax. We can bring the feet to as wide as hip distance apart, folding over into a final slightly wider legged forward bend. We can clasp the hands together at the base of the spine, dropping them over the head, and just enjoy having this stretch. Allowing the head to be really relaxed, the neck to just completely let go. We can bring the hands back down to the base of the spine and switch which fingers on top. We tend to have habitual patterns, habitual ways of doing things, and one of the beautiful things about yoga is that it offers us a playful way to challenge up some of those patterns. If you can change a pattern in your body, you can change a pattern in your life. Inhaling, coming up all the way to standing. So let's head down to the floor for a couple of seated poses. We can sit with our legs out in front of us, lifting our heart, placing our hands by our hips, balancing on our fingers. Taking a few deep breaths in here as we press down through the heels and the hips in Dandasana or staff pose. So you might be feeling this in your legs by now. That's absolutely normal. If it's too much, you can always take a break. Otherwise, breathe deep. Noticing all the muscles that are engaged. Noticing your body as it strengthens. Breathing right down to the base of the lungs and then relaxing. You can shake out the legs a little bit, taking out any tension before we head back in for another round. So again, finding our position, pressing down through the heels, pressing down through the hips, awakening the tops of the legs, breathing using the full capacity of the lungs. Staying here for just a few more counts. And then as we exhale, coming out of it, again giving the legs a little bit of a jiggle. So from here we can inhale, lifting the arms up overhead, and exhale, hinging at the hips to come into a seated forward fold. So again, I'm going to invite you here to play with folding forwards while keeping the spine long. It really doesn't matter actually how far the hands come down. It's all about the internal stretch that you're getting. So in an ideal world, we can play with every inhalation, lengthening the spine as much as possible, and with every exhalation, folding over a little bit deeper. So really hinging over at the hips. The whole body is engaged in the pose. So forward bends are the most relaxing of all the poses we can do in terms of the effect they have on the nervous system. So this is a great one if you've had a little bit of a stressful day, or maybe you've got a lot of things to do in the day ahead, then a seated forward bend is a great way to help prepare you for that. So coming out of it, as we inhale, beginning to lift the head, coming back up towards our staff pose. Taking a couple of breaths to enjoy the upright spine before heading back in for another round. So folding over again. Again, feeling that hinge from the hips. With every exhalation, allowing gravity to pull you down a little bit deeper. Really feeling the pose. As we inhale, beginning again to make our way back upright. So we've now done all of the active poses we're going to be doing for this class. So making our way down to the mat to lie down in Sivasna. We can lie with the knees bent and the feet mat width apart, or you might want to lie down with the legs right in front of you for full Sivasna. So I invite you here to just focus on your breath. Play with using the full capacity of your lungs. As you breathe in, feeling the belly button moving away from the spine. As you exhale, feeling the belly button moving towards the spine. With every cycle of breath, with every exhalation, I invite you to just let go, allowing your muscles to relax fully, and all of the energy that you've just generated through that practice can be absorbed into your body. So allowing every new cycle to take you a little bit deeper. And if your mind wanders, then just bring it back to your breath. Most of us lead very busy lives. So just taking out a few minutes, to just breathe, to come fully into this experience of being right here, right now. Such a beneficial practice. So taking 3 more breaths in this practice. And after your 3rd breath, bringing your awareness back to the whole space that you're in, back to your whole body, letting your breathing return to normal. Maybe wiggling the fingers or the toes. Starting to make these movements a little bit bigger. Gradually beginning to move in any way that feels comfortable for you. Slowly rolling over onto one side. You can give yourself a hug here. Thank yourself for showing up today, for giving yourself this practice. And I invite you to think of 3 more things that you feel grateful for in your life, whether they're big or small. Keeping your eyes closed, coming up to sitting with this gratitude in your heart. So I thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. I hope that you have a beautiful day ahead of you. Namaste.